In this video, I'm going to take you through the history of Gohan's ultimate power combined with Super Saiyan, and I'm going to be referring to ultimate as ultimate power, not ultimate form, which you'll find out why in just a moment. Is such a thing even possible in the story, and have many misinterpreted it? Huge shout out to my friend KF over on Twitter for his help on this topic, credit to his information and to the thread over on Twitter. Check him out, he's another huge GT fan. Let's address the good old hair bang of Gohan. That bang is more popular than Gohan himself. That bang has more fans than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the Cell games. When we see that bang, we know Gohan is serious, right? Well, not exactly. Some fans believe that Gohan's classic bang is the ultimate sign of Ultimate Gohan, but that is not true at all. In the Daizenshuu, it indirectly implies that he can still go Super Saiyan after the Elder Kai drew his power out. Even without becoming Super Saiyan, he surpasses Gotenks. That's an indirect admission that he still has Super Saiyan at his disposal in the Daizenshuu alone. Other official guides also state that Ultimate is more a part of Gohan's base than a transformation, stating he doesn't need to convert to a Super Saiyan, thus not actually cancelling out the possibility of stacking Super Saiyan on top of the Ultimate power, but making it more of a writing decision not to do it in Dragon Ball Z against Majin Buu and in Dragon Ball Super during the Tournament of Power onwards. You see, even in Dragon Ball Super, Gohan tells Kefla he has no need to become a Super Saiyan based on his current game plan evolving as a human, so he doesn't apply Super Saiyan with his ultimate power out of pure choice. Not that it's impossible and he cannot find a way to balance the two different powers. Super's writing makes him focus on non-Super Saiyan powers to create his unique identity as a warrior and a toy. Some tend to argue that Super Saiyan cannot be stacked with Ultimate because of how they misinterpret what the Elder Kai said about Super Saiyan being redundant when the ritual already lets him use the full potential. But the truth is, the Elder Kai does not state that. That's a misinterpretation. At best, it's an implication, but nowhere near concrete enough to suggest Super Saiyan is completely impossible on top of Ultimate. Of course, he's told to power up like in Super Saiyan, but Gohan didn't cycle through Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, then Ultimate like he did in Dragon Ball Super. Where in Super, it basically makes Ultimate look like a transformation. It's not a very good portrayal of what Ultimate is, and the way it portrays the mechanic of Ultimate makes it look like a transformation where Gohan cycles up through the forms similar to the Budokai games. It's very weird, but perception may not be reality in that scene, as Ultimate doesn't even conceptually make sense to be a transformation at all. Does anyone wonder if Super Saiyan just switched off and he went back to base form with his ultimate power? That it's not a transformation, just a state of being? At that point where he regained Ultimate, you could say he's not strong enough to keep Super Saiyan on top of that ultimate power, which is why Super Saiyan cut off. Some read the Elder Kai's words as the ultimate form replacing Super Saiyan, but that's not entirely true. It's just a better alternative. Nothing was ever stated about it being one or the other. It only seems like he's saying whatever power Gohan gained from the ritual is so much better that he won't need to go Super Saiyan. It's likely Toriyama wasn't trying to make any explicit statement with that line. But none of this applies to Dragon Ball GT, because in that series, he's visually ultimate, then applies Super Saiyan, which is friggin' awesome and something I wish I knew sooner in relation to his ultimate design. Thank you, KFTragic. Back in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, what depicted Gohan to be in his strongest state was not the bang, but the eyes. For manga events covering Z, Akira Toriyama would draw the outline for Gohan's serious eyes, which can clearly be seen when comparing the before and after of his base form and ultimate power. Gohan's base form eyes don't have full line art, even when he's extremely angry as a kid, teen, or an adult, still incomplete lines, whereas the ultimate power has complete line art. Even if he's got a relaxed face, the eyes are still complete, like Super Saiyan line art but with base form colors. In fact, we see the complete eyes on Gohan through all Battle of Gods peaceful times, but not in Resurrection F, signifying that Gohan may still have a hold of his ultimate power after the Buu saga until he drops off massively by Resurrection F. The Super manga also showcases the ultimate form being identified through the eyes. In Wrath of the Dragon, we see the team animate Gohan unleashing his ultimate power, and if you notice, in both cases of a serious face, one in base form, the other is his base with potential unleashed. The eye line becomes complete. Yes, he has the solid one bang here compared to his rest in base form here, but it's simply a visual extra because the bang is not always consistent in the Dragon Ball media due to Gohan's different hairstyles, but the eye line art is always 100% consistent. That's the key difference, and Wrath of the Dragon backs that up too. too. But after the original Dragon Ball Z, what follows in Dragon Ball GT is the exact same art style depicting the seriousness in Gohan from his base form to his ultimate power. Ultimate is a part of Gohan's base form in Dragon Ball GT. The line art is always complete, even in base form when he's at home. Is this an art error? Absolutely not, because every other character, especially Goten, clearly has the broken line art on his eyes in base form, something which Gohan shared before the days of the ultimate power. Gohan's eye shape aren't always the same in GT. Sometimes they are round and complete line art, but he always starts the fight by going into ultimate and has the sharp eyes with the complete line art. And then Gohan proceeds to stack Super Saiyan on top of that power. Dragon Ball GT episodes 59, 60, and 61 are all consistent. The side-by-side with Goten is consistent multiple times too. We can clearly see the difference in Gohan's ultimate baseline art to Goten's regular base form eyes. These are brothers. Even Goku has the same incomplete line art in base form. It's consistently the ultimate eyes. Gohan's eyes can be round in ultimate, but they're still completely outlined versus base when they're only half outlined. Now there are times when we see Super Saiyan with rounded eyes throughout Z and GT, and that's done in a moment of the character laughing or expressing innocence. It's also done in the Cell games build up to emphasize Goku is bringing his Super Saiyan form down to a level of living a normal life. What does this mean about Dragon Ball GT? It means that Gohan has full control over his unlocked potential, and it's already there at the ready. That it's not a transformation. It wasn't back then, but more of a new level of Gohan altogether. That he's always bare minimum the unleashed potential, no longer dormant. What supports Gohan stacking Super Saiyan on top of Ultimate fully is in the official guidebook for Dragon Ball GT The Perfect Files. It outright states that Gohan never stopped training after the events of Dragon Ball Z. That supports this portrayal that he had figured out how to utilize his ultimate power along with Super Saiyan, or at least trained hard enough to be able to handle the magnitude of a Super Saiyan increase on top of his ultimate power, which is pretty insane if you think about it. That's a huge power up. This has nothing to do with a serious battle expression making the line art complete. That's completely false. Gohan's eyes can be round in base form, but still completely outlined if he's being portrayed strong. But on the other hand, his base form eyes can be half outlined when they are portraying him as a slacker, or in a very, very tranquil non-combat base form state. He can have both, but correctly, a full complete line art on his eyes means Gohan has access at will to his full ultimate potential, unless it's an inconsistent art style like in some later arcs of Super. For example, in the Universe 6 training sequence with Piccolo, a serious Gohan in base has no complete line art despite him training again. He doesn't have ultimate there. Correct. A serious face in Resurrection F has no line art. He doesn't have ultimate there. Correct portrayal. He's slacked. Whereas in the Goku Black Arc and Exhibition fight, he has complete eyeline art in his rest in base form and battle base form before he even regained his ultimate potential, which is massively inconsistent because if you compare this to the entirety of Dragon Ball Z before he got ultimate and even early Dragon Ball Super, the movies and the Dragon Ball Super manga and GT, Gohan always had broken eyeline art in combat using a base form without the ultimate power at hand. Even a serious base Goten has broken eyeline art in later Dragon Ball Super arcs, but not Gohan before he regained ultimate. That is an inconsistent eye design. However, there could be a reason. Because the complete eyeline art is related to the ultimate power, the reason why Goku Black Arc and pre-tournament of power Gohan has the complete eyes in base form before he regained ultimate fully was to signify his training, and that he's much closer to regaining that ultimate power than he was in Resurrection F. He was on his comeback story arc after all, and it would make him look cooler with the eyes resembling the ultimate power eyes once again. That would be a great way to hype up the old Gohan's coming back, those old feelings designing him that way, a tease in the line art so to speak. But generally, the latest installments of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, they got it right. The angriest of Gohan in base form, incomplete eyeline, but the ultimate power, eyeline. See? It's consistent. But ultimately, whether he can transform or not, it seems strange that Gohan can stack a Super Saiyan multiplier on top of a power of what should already be his full potential at a set point in the story. But it would make sense throughout the years, and with more experience, he could have learned how to stack the rage boost aspect of Super Saiyan along with his ultimate potential. And at that point I ask you, what would be the difference between that concept and then the concept of Beast Gohan if ultimate is meant to be his physical peak? You see, Beast is a result of Gohan's physical peak combined with his mental peak. The harnessed rage and mind of a Super Saiyan stacked with ultimate is a very similar concept in terms of creating the perfect warrior in mind, body and spirit. Of course, it's strange that Gohan didn't use Ultimate Super Saiyan against Majin Buu, but there were a lot of writing decisions going on about how they finished the Buu saga, because let's be honest, Gohan can be broken as hell, and as broken as the plot requires him to be. The true enemy of Gohan is not himself, but the plot and their ability to say no to further Gohan's strength increases, and then yes when they want it to happen. But in verse, you could make up reasons why he didn't stack Super Saiyan with Ultimate in the Buu fight, that's up to you, but what makes the most inverse sense is that Gohan wasn't strong enough to amp himself beyond the point he was already at. Think of the days when Goku unlocked the Kaioken. He wasn't going to use times 10 against Vegeta, he could barely summon a times 4, and that cost his body greatly. Another example is in Dragon Ball Super, where Goku could not stack Kaioken with the God powers until he was strong enough to handle such power. It's a similar, progressive concept with the Ultimate Power and Super Saiyan. In GT, Gohan was the strongest he'd ever been in that anime continuity. The bang being the difference was actually something that was depicted in Shin Budokai 2 with future Gohan, so it's understandable how popular video games and their logic can cross over into the story of Dragon Ball. What you must also understand is that for us Dragon Ball fans, we almost all the time look at the hair of these Saiyans to tell formers apart, so it's understandable that way too. It's just a habit. Now the bang itself does indeed show itself in Dragon Ball GT whilst Gohan is talking with Oob. Whether this was an error or simply a nod to Buu Saga Gohan with the orange gi is unknown, because throughout the entire battle in the Shadow Dragons arc, there was no bang. There are points raised rightfully that Gohan didn't have Ultimate in GT because it would break his character beyond repair and massively take the shine away from the newly introduced Super Saiyan 4, which is completely understandable from a marketing and plot decision, even if logic is sacrificed. But in Dragon Ball, I try not to worry about inconsistencies because it seems like it's every other episode and chapter throughout the entire Dragon Ball franchise. Did you also know that Gohan went Super Saiyan in the original Battle of Gods movie trailer until they changed it in the final version where he went Ultimate instead, where Gohan only went Super Saiyan during the Super Saiyan God ritual? Some fans complained about Gohan attacking a threat like Beerus in a form that he knows isn't the strongest. Why attack Beerus with just Super Saiyan if you've got Ultimate, right? But what if this was a moment where they were trying to portray Gohan being able to stack Super Saiyan on top of his ultimate power that he already unlocked, something that Dragon Ball GT already showcased? That would have made Gohan insanely strong during the Battle of Gods arc, plus it was a few years after the Buu saga, right? So it would make sense if he's still in shape or continue training for a little while. But ultimately, design-wise, concept-wise, and even supported in guides, it's all consistent. Gohan's ultimate power is depicted through his eyes and not his bang, but the bang has helped elevate the portrayal of the ultimate power to make it look cooler. And also, Dragon Ball GT, Gohan has the ultimate power pretty much at hand in the entirety of the show, even when he's resting, because he's officially kept training, making him an ultimate Super Saiyan. Yes, GT is just insanely strong. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed my content, hit the like. If you didn't like it, dislike. It's as simple as that. But if there's anything I've missed in this video, or there's something you don't agree with, let me know. I'm all for learning more. Subscribe if you want more. Click notifications to get alerts. You know, all that YouTube stuff. But it really does help out. Until we meet again, keep being a role model.